This is TWiT.
Rust is primarily being used these days by Mozilla for what? Is it part of the browser? Am I running Rust code when I'm running a Mozilla browser?
You've been running Rust code. If you use Firefox, you've been using Rust code for over a year now. It really got big last October, for the Firefox 57 release, which was codenamed Quantum. It was a big marketing push because this is the turning on all of the Rust stuff. They kind of like had been rewriting various bits of the browser in Rust for the past 4 years. It was a R&D project called Serva, which is still going on, and they prioritized various parts that they wanted to bring up into Firefox. And obviously the reason Mozilla funded this is because they wanted someday to have some of this tech be in their browser, and it finally actually paid off. It was like, I mean, I can't express enough how ludicrous the idea is of we have this product and we are so dissatisfied with the current state of it that we want to rewrite or write from scratch an entire new language and then rewrite our product in this language. But I mean, it's happening. Nobody would have thought. I mean, I've been involved with this project since 2011, and I think it is the fact that this is actually succeeding is like, wow, I did not expect to actually be here, because most languages tend to die very young. You don't get traction, and just people lose interest. And Rust has succeeded beyond my wildest dreams. It's obviously not the biggest language in the world, but the fact that I'm here at all, I got paid to fly across the ocean to come just talk for an entire week with people about this language, this project that I really enjoy and really just I love working on, and it's just so cool.
And so actually that begs the next question, which is what's your role with the Rust project?
So as I mentioned, Rust is kind of a distributed team, and so we have various sub-teams within Rust. And so I am on right now the community team, which is my official role, and I do various outreach with Rust. I do teaching sessions like you saw at ATO last year. I host the Rust meetup in Boston. I do all sorts of things involving switchboarding. So if somebody wants to have their own meetup in Bangalore or New Delhi or South America or anywhere like that, we're like, hey, here's some resources. Here, let us know how we can help. If we can find you contacts, if we can find people in your area using Rust, you can get to speak. Kind of just connecting folks together. And that's mostly what yeah, go on.
I was just going to say, I was going to jump in. When you took a breath there, I'll jump in. You said something a minute ago that I find really interesting and honestly maybe just a tiny bit worrying. Rust is self-hosted. Can you only compile Rust with Rust? So you described this chain of events where yesterday's version of Rust compiles today's version of Rust. Is that hard-coded and baked into the project that's the way it works?
The way it works is, we have a policy about this where, so Rust C is the name of the compiler itself. It is a code base written in Rust. And we compile using the previous the previous version of Rust. So it's interesting, our release model. So we're from Mozilla, kind of inspired by the organization. Your web browser, if you use Chrome or Firefox, releases every 6 weeks, which the idea is to make it so that people writing features don't feel pressure to rush their features to get things out if there's a very long release window of years, like it used to be in terms of there's these Java big updates that kind of push back, like Java 7, the coin stuff, where it just took them so long, it's delaying, and it just with the 6 week release model, you can do things really fast. And so that's how often we release. We're on version 1.26. We increment the minor number every 6 weeks, and we released 3 years ago, and it's going to get big. But so far, it's working out very well. We have a lot of new features in terms of new APIs, just bug fixes coming out all the time, and our users seem to be actually really happy about that. Some distros are not as happy about that in terms of getting Rust packaged. We are working on that problem, and we'll see what happens.
Yes, there is always the tension between release early, release often, and we need a stable version of this thing to package up.